also. So, don't confuse. So the task in Snowflake, it is used to schedule query execution. So for example, so this update or insert or selecting, deleting, truncating a table, unloading data, whatever it is. So we are manually selecting and executing, right? So instead of manual execution, you schedule a task in a daily basis or weekly basis, on monthly basis, or every 1 hour or every 1 minute, and you just leave it. So automatically, whatever the time you specified in the task level, so the particular statement will execute, keep continually, it will execute it. Okay. So it is to scheduling a task or to scheduling a query execution. Okay. So this task can be combined with the table stream of continuous ETL workflows to process recently changed tables. So which means so we loaded a file in AWS, and we schedule a task in weekly once, and this task has to be executed weekly at once. Okay, so automatically when the time reached, so this task can be executed and the file will get loaded into Snowflake database. Okay, so we'll see practically how this task can be scheduled in Snowflake. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm changing the roles from system admin to account admin, and I'm selecting the database DemoDB. Okay. I want the table name which is not having the data. Okay, let me try it. Select star from employee. Okay. And now I'm creating a table. Create or replace transient table. Table name is employee underscore emp underscore continue, like AWS underscore emp0. Okay, I have created created a table called emp underscore continue. Okay, so now I'm scheduling a task. So this task, we are specifying the timestamp. Okay, so create or replace task. Task name is my task, and as we discussed, whenever we creating a task, the mandatory parameter is warehouse and scheduling time. The warehouse is taking this warehouse, this compute underscore wh, right? Compute underscore wh, and schedule time is, I'll make it every 1 minute. Okay, and so here we are just creating a task. Okay, so every 1 minute this task has to execute, but nothing is there to execute in this task, so we have to specify. So my requirement is for every 1 minute I load the file into Snowflake database. Okay, so I'm using as copy into demodb dot schema name dot table name is emp underscore continue from external staging area. So external staging area, so we have already created, right? Uh, pipe. So the last time the external staging area is created, my ext stage. So no need to create anything. So it's already exists. So I'm using the same external ID. Okay. So database name dot schema name dot my ext stage. Okay. So I'm indicating on error equal to continue, which means in case if there is any errors, it will ignore those errors and it will continue to load the file. Okay. So once you execute this statement, so this is indicating this copy command will execute continuously in every 1 minute, and it is using the warehouse name is compute underscore wh. Okay, so now I'm creating a task. So when we create a task, automatically it won't start triggering the task. So it is our responsibility to start the task. So by executing show task, so Snowflake provide a few of the parameter values and my task. We have created a my task on today date, and the owner is account admin. And if you scroll right side, which warehouse it was used, compute underscore wh, and scheduled in every 1 minute. So the state it is suspended, which means this task is not yet started. Okay, so the definition you will get it here, what it is, what it has to be executed. Okay, so if you scroll down, so now, so before start the task, so I want to go on in AWS. I'm going inside CSV. I'm deleting these files. Permanently delete. Okay, so now I'm uploading a file. So the file has been uploaded. So now I'm scheduling a task. Alter task. Task name is my task. RASUME, resume. This is to start the task. So if we execute the show task, so here we can see it. The state is started. Okay. So this task will run continuously in background. So until unless if you stop it. Okay. So this is start the task. So the task has been scheduled. So let's see it. Select star from EMP underscore continue. So for every 1 minute, if there is any new files, it will get loaded. Okay, so we'll wait for a minute and we'll check the data whether the data is get loaded into the employee underscore continue table or not. Okay. So meanwhile, if you guys having any doubts here, so we'll discuss those doubts. Mahesh, what is difference between pipe and the task? So we already discussed yesterday. So okay, let's see. Let's discuss. So this snow pipe. Once you configure the snow pipe, so whenever the new files appears in AWS S3 bucket, and AWS S3 will send a notification to Snowpipe, Snowflake. Okay, so Snowflake immediately load that file into Snowflake table. Correct. So this is the high level overview about Snowpipe, right? Yes. But in task, what we'll do is scheduling a task. So I have created a task, and every week, one time has to run this task. So if I set like this, And in AWS S3 bucket, I'm loading a file in every day or every alternate day or in a week once. In a week once, file has been loaded into S3 bucket. Okay. So whatever the time we specified in the task, that time only these files will get loaded into Snowflake. Till the time those files won't consider and it won't load it.
But already pipe will get loading, right? As per
Yes, this functionality is different.
No, automatically in background pipe, snow pipe used to be loaded files, right?
Yes, so within the same bucket,
Okay.
you can configure both, or you can configure one bucket in Snowpipe and one bucket in Task. So this Snowpipe, when we will go for Snowpipe is whenever the new files appears, which means when I'm trying to loading a new file into S3 bucket, immediately this file has to get loaded into Snowflake database table. Okay, so there are some scenarios they will get the data, bulk data, and they will load it into Snowflake database on a specific timestamp. So that case they will go for scheduling a task. So especially these scenarios, people used to go for payment and invoice generation. These cases only they will go for scheduling. Clear?
Yeah.
So I'm executing. So the file get loaded. So you may get doubt. So it's almost more than a minute, right? Why it is loading single file only? Because we have loaded a single file, and this file won't load continuously in every 1 minute. It won't load. It will consider one time only. So as we discussed, once the copy command is processed with the same file name, then it will not allow you to load the same file name again. Okay. So if I load another file, so this task will run continuously in every 1 minute. So in every 1 minute, if it is finding any new file in AWS S3 bucket, and that file will get loaded into the table emp underscore continue. Okay, so if I maintain 60 minutes, then every 1 hour, whenever the new files is available on AWS S3 bucket, those files only it will consider and it will load it into the Snowflake database table.
Here always we should have to mention minute, or we can mention hours.
No. So there is no restriction here. So based on the company requirement, so ideally in the real time it will not be a 1 minute. Okay, so they will specify in a weekly basis or every 3 hours or every 2 hours once they will execute this task. So for your reference, I'm giving 1 minute. So if I give 1 hour and 2 hours, you can't wait for 2 hours, right, in the discussion. So that's why for your reference, I make it 1 minute. So here there is no restriction. So you can make it 1 minute or 1 hour, 2 hours, or every alternate day once, or every weekly once, or in a daily basis. However you want, you can specify it. Okay. But in the real time, so how you are scheduling a task, whether in a daily basis or hourly basis. So you can, if you the expected answer should be either in every alternate once this job will runs, or every 4 hours once this job will execute it. Okay, so don't give 1 minute or 1 hour. Okay. So now 1050 rows. So now I gave here is 1 minute, right? So for your reference, I'm giving. So for 1 minute I gave here, right? So how if I want to make it for a specific so I'm stopping this task. Suspend. Suspend is if you want to stop the task, then you can use suspend to stop the task. Okay, so if we execute the show task, so if you scroll right side, you will see the state is suspended. Suspended in the sense stopped. It is not suspended or stop, both are same, but cancel is different. Okay. So here if you want to specify the exact timestamp, so what we can do is here can make it using 9 to 17 Sunday America, Los Angeles. So don't worry, this scheduling a specific timestamp, they will give the proper things to us. Okay, so based on accordingly we will specify it. If you want, you can specify the timestamp underscore input underscore format equal to year, month, date, 24 hours. So this is the format of America. The timestamp will be year, month, date. So our Indian timestamp is date, month, year. Okay. So this HH24 is 24 hours. So after 12, it will start from 13, 14, 15. Okay. But in India, we will call it as after 12, we will consider 1, 2, 3, right? And this is here, this meaning is this task can execute in every day, Sunday at 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. in the time zone of America, Los Angeles. Okay, every week Sunday this job will run 2 times, morning 9 a.m. and 17 is evening 5 p.m. Clear? So this is how we have to make it. Any doubts? So if you want to schedule a task at a specific time zone, so I can use this. Clear? So this is how the tasks will be scheduled in Snowflake. Clear? Any doubts? Okay, so if no doubts, then we'll switch to data sampling. So ideally, this data sampling will do by analyst people. So anyway, I'll give you. Okay, so the data sampling is so it is also an important for in terms of the analyst perspective, not for Snowflake developer and Snowflake admin people. Okay, so why important to take few sampling of data is it is not recommendable for the analytic people to pull the data from production system directly and they can apply some of the algorithms to predict the feature. So that is not recommendable because the production table having a huge volume of data. And the problem here is if they start using running some of the analytical queries directly on production system is assume in the production database having 5 TB of data. 5 TB of data is very huge. And if I run analytical queries, I need at least for this 5 TB of data, I need assume that 2 extra large warehouse we need. So if this extra large warehouses, double X large warehouse is running continuously for 1 hour, then it will charge accordingly, right? So the amount which is charged by production system is huge. And this analytical team will not always look for 100% result. Sometimes they need overview of the data. So that cases, what they will do is they will contact a Snowflake developer or few people they can directly work on data sampling. So to get some portion of the data from production database to development table. Okay, so here you may get a doubt. So we can use a clone, right? So the cloning will pull the cloning. What it will do is it will pull the complete data into development table. So here we don't want the complete data into development table. So we need some portion of the data from production table to development table. So that case we will go for data sampling. Okay. So this analytical team, they will go ahead for data sampling and they will pull some portion of the data from production system to development system. Okay. So, and this analytical people, they will work on the development system and they will do some subset of the database and running some of the analytical queries in the development system. And if the accuracy is getting 60 to 70% in the development system, then we can easily expect the accuracy in the live system at least 80 to 90% accuracy in the production database. Okay, so this is how the data sampling will work. And here we having two types of data sampling in Snowflake. One is this Bernoulli and system. Actually, it is not R, it is AND. Okay, so this Bernoulli method is basically if the production table uh, having less data, so that case we can use it for system while pulling the data from production database to development database. If we specify the Bernoulli, which means it will consider all the records which is available in the production table. Okay, so which means complete data will be pulled here. But if you use system method is basically it will pull the data based on each block in a Snowflake. So in each block, for example, in the production table having some 1,000 blocks are there. So out of 1,000 blocks, have each block having some, imagine 1 lakh records. So if you use system method, what it will do is it will pull one record from each block. Okay, so it will not pull the complete data. Some portion of the data it will pull and it will show it to us. Okay, so let's see how we can apply data sampling in Snowflake. So this file having almost 10,48,575 records are there. Guys, give me a minute. I'll be back. Transient table. Table name sales underscore. I'll make it sales. Order ID. I'll make it number. And order date. I'll make it a string. Make it date. Region string. Country string. Sales channel string. Order priority. Ship date. I'll make it date. And cost. I'll make it number. Okay, so I have created a table. So I have created a table. So the same file I'm getting loading into here. So we'll use the copy into command. I'm specifying the files. File m underscore sales dot csv. So it is preparing to loading the file. So meanwhile, we'll create a table. Create or replace transient table. Supplier underscore lock as select star from sales sample system 3 seed. I'll make it 82. Row method or Bernoulli method. Okay, and this is system method or block method. Supplier underscore row and select star from sales sample seed 82. Okay, now the file has been loaded successfully here. So now I'm executing this copy command. Okay, then it is expecting a file format name. So I'll delete these two files permanently. Then only this file is there. Then I'll remove this file name. Now the file has been loaded. So the total number of records is 10,48,575 records get loaded into the table. Okay, so now you see select star from sales. So it is taking total 4.85 seconds. Because this table having a huge volume of data. Okay, so now as an analytical person, I'm trying to assume that this table is a production table. So I'm taking some portion of the data. So if I execute this statement, so the supplier block is created successfully, which is taking 1.3 seconds. 1.3 seconds. So if I execute this statement, this is a row, right? Row method. It is taking 1.8 seconds. So this is taking more time. It is taking less time. So this is each block level, it will consider three records. This it will consider the whole information in alternately. Like it is a kind of a micro partition. 3 is selecting micro partitions 3 from the backend and the property of 3, and it is provided seed 82. if someone has to produce the same result with probability 3, we can use seed 82. Okay, so the probability method and these things will come in artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms. We used to get these words probability. Okay, so this is completely the analytic perspective. So I'm just giving overview about that. So ideally, it is not at all required for Snowflake developer and Snowflake admin people. It is completely out of topic. Okay, but for your reference, I'm just giving for you. Okay. So it is a kind of moreover some portion of the data only we are trying to taking. Okay. So ideally, so in sales table having 10 lakhs 48,575 records are there. Okay. So if I use this row, when I am playing a row method, it is considering 31,664 records. So this analytical people, they will do some they will take this data and they will apply some of the algorithms with the help of artificial intelligence, and they will predict the data. Okay, so let's check out for block table. So this table is considering 31,664 records. Okay, so in each block level it will consider and it will give the some sampling data only it will take. It will not take the full data. Okay, so and the analytical team they will perform some of the algorithms from their end. Okay, at least you guys get an idea, right? So the data sampling, instead of taking the full data, some portion of the data we are trying to pulling from the production table by using system method or block method, and another option is Bernoulli method or row method. So by using these two methods, they can pull some portion of the data from production table to development table. And in the development system, these analytical people, they used to write some analytical queries on this sampling data. Okay, so which is something like to predict the data. So here, if they are getting the accuracy between 60 to 70%, then they can easily imagine because here some small amount of data is there, right? So if they will apply the same analytical queries directly on production table, they can expect at least 80 to 90, between 80 to 90% of accuracy. Okay. Any doubts here? Okay, if no doubt, then we'll discuss about types of joins. So for joins, we don't have sufficient time. Do you guys having any doubts so that I will clarify it today?
yesterday we tried streams, right?
Yeah.
It was showing false only. Did you see that one yesterday? When you try to...
Yeah, let me try it now.
No, I tried yesterday. You are loading the table from internal storage, I mean computer. That's why it is showing false. If you insert the values from here itself, worksheet itself, it is showing true.
Yes, the reason is in the real time we will not insert the records. So when we will go for inserting a record is we are loading a files into AWS or Azure or GCP, correct? So if you are once the file is loaded into AWS or Azure or GCP, from here we will load that file into Snowflake table. Okay, so if you apply a stream, if we want to apply a stream on table, what will happen is ideally most of the cases we will load the files into the table, and in case if there is any data correction, then we will use the update statement, and if there is any duplicate records, then we will delete the duplicate records. And in case so if you want to delete the few of the records, we can delete it. So the insertion is very rare. Toughest cases only we will use insert operation, because so in the real time if you take any table, the table will have minimum 100 columns. So instead of maintaining 100 columns data in Snowflake, so like so how we used to insert into table name, I'll make it sports. Okay, values, and we need to cross verify every time whether the data which you are giving is the proper table structure format or not. Okay, so some columns will comes with a number, some columns with will be a character that will be maintained as a column quotation. Okay, so then we used to use comma. Then so imagine for 1,000 columns, 1,000 times we have to give the values 100 times. Some columns may have more than 400 plus, 500 plus also. So that cases, it is really hard to maintain the data with the help of insert statement. Okay, so when it is recommendable to insert a record is if the table having some very minimal columns data.